football giving you many feelings as good as that one?
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Enjoyable day. Happy to help the team and to win today is special, you know.
Every boyhood Arsenal fan, every fan still left in this stadium would dream of doing what you've just done. How special is it? What does it feel like?
Special, man. I'm grateful again, man. That's what I prayed for. I prayed for it today, man, a hat-trick, and I got it today, so I'm grateful to God, man.
Did you have that feeling today? I saw you at the end, I saw you after your hat-trick goal, kind of pointing to the sky. Did you have that sense today that someone had a plan for you, someone was looking down at you?
That was the prayer today. That was the prayer today, a hat-trick, and God gave it to me, so
delivered.
Again, that's faith, man.
And I know you're all Arsenal, your family, and I believe you're over there by that over and over again sign, so who else is here from the Eze family to enjoy that?
All my family's here, man, again, so it makes it even more special today in front of them.
And of course, had the summer worked out differently, you could have had a different shirt on today.
Let's not speak about that.
I thought you might say that. Pick of the goals.
They're all good, man. I don't know. Maybe the second one, man. That was my favourite.
Why?
Just the timing of it. It was just the right time, and yeah, man. Honestly, it's a special. All of them are good for me because I know that I've been working on it, the process to get in those positions. So yeah, it's worked out.
First senior hat-trick as well, I think.
Yeah, it is. Again,
two quite a few times. Not a bad time to get the hat-trick.
Yeah, special, man. As I said, no words can't explain this one today, man.
Well done. Look, you're the player of the match as well. First Arsenal player to score a hat-trick against Tottenham in nearly 50 years. Player of the match. There's a little match ball down there under your foot, so the old mantelpiece is going to be a bit more packed. Well done.
Not bad, man. Thank you very much. Well appreciate it.
Cheers, man.
Ebere Eze says that he prayed for a hat-trick today, and this is what all of that means with one game left to go in this match week. Wolves still with just 2 points from their opening games, and then it starts to get a bit congested. Leeds stay inside the bottom three. They kicked off today for the first time inside the relegation places, and they end the day there as well with 11 points level with West Ham. Into the top half of the table, where defeat for Tottenham means they are in 9th place. That coupled with Aston Villa's win that sends them into the top 4. There you go, above Crystal Palace. They're just behind Manchester City, Chelsea and now Arsenal, who extend their lead to 6 points at the top of the table. And after 12 games, their goal difference is at plus 18. Also a busy night of NFL to come as well. Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams is waiting to tell us about it with Jason Bell.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I must be honest, I think in the summer when Arsenal signed him and I had my Liverpool hat on and I looked at the signings Arsenal made, and besides Gyökeres, it felt like a lot of them were to strengthen the squad, really. So where Arsenal had problems the year before was when Saka was out, so they bought Madueke. Odegaard was out, they got Eze. One of the centre-backs was missing, so they got a couple of centre-backs. It was only really Gyökeres who felt like he was going to go into the team. And if I'm being honest, I think if Havertz was 100% fit, Havertz would probably be the centre-forward in this team, I think. So when Eze came in, I thought, OK, maybe it's not a game changer. And Les knows him a lot better than me. He still said earlier on in the show, there's still more to come. But then we've still seen some of his highlights this season. There were still a few great goals in there, and then he goes and scores a hat-trick. So, apologies. I think I've certainly undervalued the importance that signing was, because he looks like he could make the real difference for Arsenal this season and go on and win the title. And
apart from the sort of skill in scoring the goals and his overall contribution to the game, the composure, Thierry, was admirable from Eze.
Well, if you looked at Palace before, you would have seen that composure. You know he has that composure. He's calm. The way he speaks is the same way, But what I like with him is the way he, in the game today, he finds a way to be in and around the box, especially on one of the goals. You will see he pulls away from everybody to make sure he can have time to execute, and we all know he can finish. I know he's with us now, but when you look at him at Palace and the way they reposition him under Mateta, suddenly, as a 10, he started to see the game a different way with a guy that can play for him. And obviously today was different because he didn't have a proper 9 with him. But that's why I think it was easier for him to get in the box today, because he didn't have the presence of a 9. He was a 9 at times.
Yeah, there was nobody getting in his way. It was him, and he took the goal.
Goals certainly last season to compete with Liverpool, but Arsenal in general play didn't create enough. That was a problem for them last season. So no matter who your striker is, if you're not creating chances for him, he's not there to finish. But he's made a difference with that. And even this season, when we go back to very early on, if you go back to the game at Anfield, that was almost like the Arsenal of last season. Very strong defensively, but not really looking like scoring going forward. And I don't know if can't remember exactly. Was Newcastle the next game after that? Or I think Eze came in basically rather than. There was a lot of criticism around Marino playing, I think, at Anfield instead of Eze. Eze comes on late into the game. And then I'm certain Eze plays at Newcastle away. And you just felt like there was a difference. Yeah. And it just feels like his introduction, his signing, which I felt, to be fair, would just be something that would be to sort of back up Odegaard. Odegaard's out at the moment. But as you said before, Odegaard's got a real fight.
And you know that I thought differently. I said to myself, first and foremost, he's a 10. And Martin Odegaard will have competition. And as it should be, you would have competition. In your time, in my time, if you have an hour. If you don't score, Kanu comes on, Wilton comes on. At the very beginning, I had to find a space to make sure that I could make myself available and make sure that I could perform for the team. But like I said, for me, he's a 10, and I say it again.
How much in terms of that Arsenal overall performance, and how impressive was it, given that we will come to the opposition that Spurs put up later on in the show?
I like the combination of, and I mean, it's an obvious one, people will say that, but Bukayo Saka and Timber, the way they attack and they defend together, it's second to none. Everything came from the right and ended up going to Eze or to Leandro Trossard. Everything goes there. And the way they do defend also together, the activity. It's like when you see one, you see the other one. Regardless of where they are on the field, that combination is lethal.
With those additions to the Arsenal squad in the summer, it was sort of expected that Leandro Trossard would be playing a sort of slightly reduced role. And yet that's 8 starts in a row for him. And I know there are injuries in that Arsenal squad and players who've been unavailable, but he scored big goals in that time.
He has. And whenever I looked at Arsenal, I always felt left wing was a real weak area for them. Whether it was sort of
that quality like Merino turn around in the stadium and then just pick someone just like that and allow someone to run. That's what he was talking about like how embarrassing the performance of Tottenham was. But you know, I'm not complaining.
Since he's come to Arsenal, he's had the handbrake on a little bit. I know there's so much more to come from him. I didn't actually want to see it today, but I did, and he showed what he's capable. And I said, you know, he needs to sort of like embrace it. He needs to come here and say, I'm the man. I've come here to do this. This is what I've come here to do. And we saw it today. He scored a hat-trick. I mean, let's get this right. Arsenal scored 4 goals against, and they didn't get out of third gear. Tottenham were that bad today. It was embarrassing to watch. I was halfway through this game. I was hoping I could go in the box with Michael McIntyre and the rest of them because I didn't want to watch anymore. Do you know what I mean? You can't come to Arsenal and a North London derby and not put everything on the line. I think the manager got his tactics wrong today. He came here to be negative and to sit back and try and hold Arsenal off. And I think that just sent out the wrong message to the players because they just couldn't get out of gear. Arsenal scored the first goal, and that was it. Tottenham were done. You knew it was going to be. We're
going to talk lots more about.
And social media around the world has gone into overdrive after that biggest derby win in 13 years for Arsenal. And he's also the first Englishman to score in the North London derby since 1991. The late Kevin Campbell and Ian Wright, Esquire. So, and the first, as I say, Premier League hat-trick hero of the Premier League era. I mean, it's an extraordinary tale, whichever way you tell it.
To be honest, when I signed for Arsenal, like I said, me and David Rodcastle spoke for hours about what it's like to play for Tottenham. I didn't dream of scoring a hat-trick because I'd have thought that would have been too much. Just to get 1 goal in my first game against Spurs would have been great. But for him, with everything what he's been through, to score a hat-trick in his North London derby, it's amazing, especially in this season, a season where, you know, question marks are still around him as he's settled in properly, as he's still trying to find his way in the Arsenal side, and you know that will just help him. That will just help him. But it's the kind of thing that he's achieved that I don't think he'll realise till the season's over, and hopefully Arsenal would have won the league.
Because his story of rejection and hard work to bounce back to get to this point of signing for them, let alone today's headlines.
As a youngster, you know, to be discarded from a football club when it's your dream, and being Arsenal his team, that must have been absolutely excruciating for him. And he could have there and said, right, that's it, I'm giving up. A lot of kids do, you know, but he hasn't. He had that inner steel, he had that inner fight and character. But for me, I watched him many years ago, I think at QPR, and he stood out to me because he plays the game in a natural way. And he played that when he was 14, 15, and a lot of English coaches back then would have looked at him and said,
not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me, Clive.
Because at the end of the day, he couldn't do this. They were looking at he couldn't do that. But at the end of the day, he's got immense talent. And that talent is coming out more and more now. And as I said earlier, Tuchel, he's got an abundance of these players. How you can get him into the England team, I do not know.
Need to look at the goals again as well, because some of those finishes, righty.
Yeah. When the thing with it is that when you look at the way we were playing, what I was really hoping for is that he would get. Really sorry, just got something in my throat there. You just want to see them getting the ball in those spaces. Like Declan Rice's pass there was brilliant, but like he's in that space where you want Ebere Eze to be. And once he's in there, then obviously he's gone through 2-3 people. Look how many Tottenham players are there. 7 players are there. They'll have to look at that. But that pass there was brilliant. But then now, this is what he's capable of, and that is what is fantastic about
quick feet as
what
well.
he's done today. Brilliant that was.
Fantastic, right? And I think that's the thing. It's not only that; it's the quality of the goals. The quality of the 3 goals. Sometimes you get a hat trick, and he could be lucky or whatever. But look at them. That one there, I think, the best one. Beautiful.
That's the one. That's the one he said as well, Gaffer.
Yeah, that's right. Because actually, it's it's popped up a little bit. And the space that they've created there.
Yeah, Declan does well with the run.
Yeah, that little run takes Romero away and just opens it up. And you give that lad that sort of space in and around the D, my word.
That's brilliant, that is.
It's going to punish you.
That's brilliant. Look, there's a composure now and then. Bam, just the quality there. Beautiful.
Fantastic. Very good goal. Fabulous.
Your memories for life for Ebere Eze.
Well, this is the
one that Collins.
Well, this is the one where you're feeling like with this much time, there's no way he's going to miss. You know, look, he's completely put. I think that's a doggy on the floor there. You know, he's come across too quickly, but again, Marino drops off, does brilliantly. Great run from Trossard, breaking the lines, and then there's only going to be one outcome. I think he was unlucky to not get 4. You know, he had a great chance. I think the goalie made a great save, but you know, it was always going to. I was just hoping for Arsenal to win today. I didn't think it was going to be as special as this.
No, special Arsenal memories. But bigger picture Tottenham, Glenn. As we said at half-time, a lot of discussion pre-match about the tactics and the shape from Thomas Frank, which didn't work.
Yeah.
Tried to change it in the second half. But
Yeah, he might.
They've just not been beaten here in this derby. They've been
beaten. Yeah, I mean, first half there was such a gap between the 2 teams, and it's sad to say that. But at the end of the day, they've had to come out second half and improve a little bit, and they did. But there's issues there that have been there for a few weeks and few performances, mainly been at home, whereas there's not enough options on the ball when anyone's in possession. That's the problem, and Spurs had to go very long first half. There was nothing on, had to go long, and Arsenal gobbled the ball up and come back again. And it was relentless first half. So there's a lot of things they've got to look at, whether it's the shape or individuals. These players are underachieving a little bit at the moment, I feel. They look like a team that can actually maybe go and stop teams playing, but football's about what you do with the ball as well, and that's the big challenge for Tottenham at the moment.
But ultimately, they were set up to do that, but they couldn't stop Arsenal playing in the slightest today,
No,
could they?
No, they couldn't. I mean, Arsenal were, after first 15 minutes, Spurs, you know, there was the one chance that Rice had. Vicario made a great save, but you're thinking, well, they're not being peppered, but they were just hanging on. It was like, it wasn't a great performance in the sense that, you were winning the ball and then counter-attacking. They never did that once first half. If they won the ball, it was like a longer ball and it was coming straight back at them. That's when your tactics are not working, whether it's the back 5 that you play, but with the ball, you want your tactics to work, whereas you can go through the pitch quickly and counter. That wasn't happening once. No. And when you're your goals behind, 2 goals down, you're gonna hesitate. You're gonna be anxious. You know, that confidence just is sapped out of you, and that's what Arsenal did. They just kept coming back at them, and once the third one went in, just after half time, I think that was the problem.
Yeah. And that's what this Arsenal team are all about, aren't they? They're going for more. The belief is sky high.
Yeah, and in a season where, again, we've gone through a phase of games where last season, we out of 4 games, I think it might have been Fulham, West Ham, Newcastle and someone else, can't remember who it was, and they got 2 points out of that. This season they got 12. And it's games like this where, City lose, Liverpool seem like they're nowhere near it at the moment, but you have to win these home games. And this is why, without trying to put pressure on the team saying, oh, you have to win, but they do. Home games, if you're going to try to win the league, you have to win the home games. And coming up against a North London derby, coming into a Tottenham side, let's say they're not in great form, but I thought they were going to make it a lot more difficult than it was. I thought I saw some of the time Thomas Frank was telling them to push up to try and press them high. They didn't do that. And I thought that at no stage in the game were Arsenal uncomfortable with anything what Tottenham were doing. They weren't uncomfortable, so they could just keep playing their game. And, in the end, it broke Tottenham down.
Yeah. I mean, they hadn't had a shot on target until they scored, which was a consolation in the end. But we should show it because it was some goal from Richarlison and the role Paulinho played as well.
Paulinho was outstanding today. Not so much with what he did on the ball, but he's outstanding how he wins the ball back for his team. Look at him, and he did it time and time again. Yeah. And he makes that tackle. And be fair to Richarlison, look, the ball's rolling away from him.
Brilliant.
And Raya can't get back. It's a fabulous goal, but that's harder, Ian, because the ball's rolling away.
Rolling away because
if it's going across.
Yeah, normally you need the ball to be slowing down so as you can get your foot under it and get it up. But he's done brilliantly there. And maybe because he was so far out, maybe the goalkeeper, he could hit it with a lower trajectory, so it's gone in over Raya simply because of how far out he was. But that's not easy because that opportunity comes and then everybody's saying, oh, shoot, but you've got to do everything right there. And he's done it right there, to be honest.
The only frustration is it didn't count for anything at all.
No. I mean, straight away after that goal, they nearly conceded Tottenham again. There was a really good chance for Arsenal. And that was where you're thinking, God, dear, you've just maybe got a little morsel back in the game. If they get a second, it's game on, like we were saying. Maybe a little bit of nervousness crept, but it just didn't happen. Just didn't happen for Tottenham today. Everything they tried, really, apart from that goal, didn't work out for them.
It was well, Gaffer Steve. When you watched it, after that, there was like a 5-minute period where Arsenal played, like we saw with the goal, Zubimendi. I've never seen him do that before. Dawdle on the ball there when he had an option. And there was a couple of occasions where they didn't pass the ball quick enough and Tottenham got close, but they couldn't take advantage of that little lapse, what Arsenal done at that stage. They couldn't take advantage of it.
No. And for Arsenal, I mean, 6 clear. We're only in November, obviously. But as you say, it's not just 6 clear. It's the form of the teams that are chasing them, isn't it? That puts them in such a strong position.
Well, this is why. This is what they've got to do. You can't afford for a City to lose yesterday and you don't take advantage to get the cushion. Because there's going to come games where it's going to be tight. You're going to be playing after Christmas. That's when you're getting into the crux end of everything, and you may drop some points. You may lose some games, but you just got enough cushion where you can lose and then get yourself going again. Hopefully, what can happen now is that Arsenal can use these games where they're winning to bring players back so they can be strong again. So then because you look at Arsenal, you say that Arsenal, if they could get themselves in a position where they have to lose 3 or 4 games. Then you can start feeling comfortable. But until you get to that, you've got to continue to try and reach that and achieve that.
And now we're only almost a third of the way through the season, so it's very early. But on the back of what Wrighty's saying there, Arsenal will never have a better chance, will they, of winning this league?
No, never. Because they've got the squad and the players to do it, to cover every angle, every position. But what they've done by giving them a cushion now is they're making the likes of Chelsea, which is a big game next week, and Man City, I think they're the two that might be the ones that will be rivals for them. They're making them play perfect. They've got to win every game now. They feel as if now, to catch Arsenal, they might have a couple of draws somewhere along the line, but they've earned that cushion with a 6-point cushion. And if you're the opponents going for them, you think, well, we've got to beat them when we play them. They've got to go to City yet, and they're going to Chelsea next week. But also after that, we've got to be perfect. We got to win every single game to actually bridge that gap, and that's going to be the tough thing. It's not just what Arsenal are going to do; it's what other clubs are going to have to do.
You know what, as well, Steve? I think that because they finished second 3 times on the spin, I think they will recognise the position they're in because they were having to chase down City, and they would have to try to be, like the gaffer's saying, perfect. You can't lose. You can't drop any points, which they found very difficult to do. They couldn't do it. They couldn't see it off, and that's why City ran away with it. Liverpool done the same. So I think them being in this position, it only makes them even more determined to win these kind of games so they can get the cushion.
Terrific situation for Arsenal to be in. The other side of the story is Tottenham today, beaten and well beaten by 4 goals to 1 in the first derby for their manager, Thomas Frank.
Well, Thomas, a really painful day. Was that a performance actually that upset you?
Yeah, I think it's extremely painful. Can't talk away from that. Won't not talk away from that. It was a bad performance. It was the completely opposite what the intention was before we came here today. We can only apologise to the fans for this performance. I think no matter if both the team wanted to play a little bit short, they got more out of top on that than we couldn't get out, or they were more stronger in the duels and we couldn't get out of those 2 duels. When the team went long, the duels and second balls, we didn't win enough of those. And you can say it maybe exemplifies perfectly with, I think, a 2-0 goal and a 3-0 goal. I think a player went through 3 or 4 players. So on the day, bad performance and we lost.
And he apologises to the fans. Total opposite to what he expected.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have set out to play that way, of course not. And I think as a manager, sometimes you've got to hold your hands up. And he's obviously said that to the, what he said to the players in the dressing room. But he's been very honest to come out. In a way, he's got no other thing to say. He can't say that we were unlucky or whatever. We tried to play a certain way. He's saying it wasn't good enough on the day, and that happens. And it's unfortunate for us. It's a North London derby against Arsenal. I always felt it was going to be a tough game for them. I really did today. The vibe of Arsenal going in, Man City losing yesterday. I really thought unless we can get our noses ahead, but not being funny. But first half, wow. I don't think there was a shot. We had 1 long throw in. We're talking about set plays and long throws before the game and corners. We didn't get a corner. So at the end of the day, it was a very, very disappointing performance, and one that it's a sort of a performance and result that makes you look in the mirror and reflect as players, as managers, as staff. Now that can be a stepping stone for them to go on a really good run. I've seen that happen. Look at Aston Villa. We spoke about them earlier. Beginning of the season, they couldn't buy a point, and there was a nervousness, and there was but they've turned it round. So Tottenham can actually do that, but it might be this sort of performance and game that actually does that for you. Or if you don't win the next one, then it's on a spiral, and then you've really got some hard work to do.
Has he got bigger issues than perhaps people thought? Does he know his best team?